Does look like Hyde is going to be on that bot lane. Easy. You do have a lot of potential for chain stunning there. Hyde is walking to the top instead.
30 seconds to battle.
I do not thank.
I'm gonna say hello, or hi. Dreamer still a tap on the shoulder. Light gonna rotate around with the tag team. It doesn't pop it quite yet, as well, they will spot out Ohio. So Link Strike gonna be there. Ohio tag team up. Blinding Light is gonna be there, but I don't believe it'll be enough, as Ohio will be the first blood for Dreamer Soul on the Ricky. That is a very nice start coming out for this Boom ID side.
Yeah, not only that, but they managed to grab themselves 2 bounty runes, only one going the way of CR, and they did have to deny the last one as well. Seeing a bit of a better start here, you are forced to keep Mushi up top as well to try to get control of this lane.
Yeah, you definitely do. The tri lane continues as Boom ID aren't removing their own tri. It is a very strong tri lane to have. Plenty of kill potential here for Boom ID, and well, this really isn't going to favor CR because you don't really want to leave BT faded here up against FBZ by himself.
The moment that Metamorphosis fades away, FBZ's have pretty decent time to clear out the wave. At level 1, the center is not much of a threat. Once you hit level 2, level 3 is when it really starts to shine. Don't want to be leaving that Terrorblade alone. Just way too much downtime, that Metamorphosis.
Gonna move in with the tag team, but he's very, very low right now, and Ohio gonna be able to pick up the kill on the puck. Not really sure why you run in that low, but he ends up paying for it.
Strange decision to make. Kezcute as well, just in the middle of the 2 support, is forced to TP back to his tier 1. Does get away from him. This does kind of free up Hyde to go to a different lane on bot. Can be there to some damage to created if they wish. Again, he still doesn't have level 2 Spirit. No Snowball, no Ice Shards just yet. It's gonna be a while until that combination up and running.
Mid lane, you do see Makoto up against Ben-Hur on the bird, and so far, both sides are having a very even time, though it looks like Makoto is slowly pulling ahead on the TH. I suppose in some sense is to be expected, however, Makoto is lower in level. Ben-Hur finding an XP advantage very early on.
Just a little bit more for himself there. I think that down to perhaps a denies. Although Mikado does catch up, and I think it's at level 4 when it starts to get a bit better for the TA in terms of matching up and of the harass. I mean, yeah, on paper, this should be a better lane for the TA. They don't have any good with burning shooters, fraction charges from Ben-Hur, so that is going to be something he has to watch out for.
TB apparently went down bot lane. I apologize. We're having a bit of an issue, so I'm trying to fix it as we speak, John. But Terror's life been lost, and that's what we really get for leaving FBZ alone down there. And Mushi has rotated there on the Keep of the Light now, but Hyde will follow on the Tusk, and they intend to make it as hellish as possible for this Terrorblade. As Mushi's gonna try and be as disruptive as possible in the Keeper of the Light, but as a Coddle, all you can really do is spam blind every time they make a jump. This top lane, Dreamer Cell gonna go onto Ohio, and Dreamer Cell will pick up his second kill of the game. So the Ricky really finding quite a bit of net worth very early on.
Definitely, you expect a bit more presence from an Underlord lane, even against like a Ricky. You mentioned like Firestorm should be doing a lot more. The Atrophy Aura should be making it hard for Dreamcell to farm up. He's still hitting a pretty good stride here. His last hits aren't quite up there, 18, 19 to 2, but that's still keeping in pace with the Terrorblade down bot, and at the very least, Dreamcell is finding those kills. Overall, a bit of a better time for Boom ID when it comes to the laning phase.
Hyde gonna find Mushi on the Keeper of the Light, and now with that it should be a very easy kill. FBZ with the follow-up Hoof Stomp, and I mean that duo, that combination of heroes is just so effective. If you do find a nice support pick like the Keeper of the Light, FBZ and Hyde, surely just to continue this real aggression they're bringing out in this lane.
There's really not too much you can expect from the duo of Terrorblade and Coddle to dissuade aggressive movement. This is going to be a massive vulnerability for VT. Like right now, he doesn't have Metamorphosis. Hyde can just walk up and try something again.
He's going to try. Shards do land. Hyde with the tag team as well. He does still have a snowball, but they do get the Hoop Stomp off in time. VT is a bit tanky with that armor. It looks like they won't really be able to get through the armor of Terrorblade this time, especially considering Mushi was there and ready to go with the Blinding Light anyway.
Oh, snap!
So we'll just continue as per normal. It's a 1 to 4 Boom ID. It's really hard with this kind of draft, right? Because once they get ahead, it is extremely hard to slow them down.
Definitely. Like Boom, they just come online and snap with their TA, and Pado's already having that good time down mid. The Ricky will take a bit more, like even if he's having a pretty decent time up top. The itemization and progression for that itemization does take a bit longer, but same thing can be said for CR. Like Terrorblade is, even if he's not exactly missing out on last hits here, he did die once, is under a lot of pressure in his lane, and even if he rides through this lane at this exact pace, you're waiting for a couple of items to come out from his TB before he's ready to go. You're gonna have to look at the Underlord, look at the Void Spirit to really pick up that slack, and right now, you are getting good farm on your Underlord, but it does feel like Ben-Hur is just struggling a bit too much.
Stampede to be popped. FBZ just trying to run away from Ben-Hur, who's getting very, very aggressive with that Void Spirit. And of course at level 6, it is a huge power spike for the Void Spirit, so you've got to just run away if this man rotates at that 6 mark. There's just no point fighting with the amount of burst he has. Jiayu. Tag team gonna come out. Jiayu with a bit of malice down. Is losing a lot of HP with that Twisted Trade, and Mushi doesn't connect with the Blinding Light onto Dreamcell. And Ohio gonna join in. They're gonna try and at least dish out a bit of harassment. They're careful. In fact, never mind. Ben-Hur jumps in now. KSQ does melt, and they will also find Hyde. Very nice rotation coming out from that Void Spirit, but they don't really find the Ricky.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, you've pushed out from CR, you don't manage to find a Ricky. I think overall, you're still kind of happy finding those kills on the supports. At the very least, Ben-Hur is the one up. You are getting a little bit more for your Void Spirit, and the hero that really needs to get that good start going for himself. Again, he had a bit of a slow start in his lane matchup, but as long as he keeps finding these kills and pressures these towers with BT faded, should be able to get his foot back in, and he should be able to clear out this top tier 1.
He's gonna try. It's gonna be no problem for him. He does pick it up. FBZ may start trying to work down that bottom tier 1 tower, but before that, Ohio is gonna be chased down by the Ricky, and he'll just away. CR are the first ones. I say the first ones, but their mid tier 1 did go down for that top tier 1 trade, so it wasn't exactly the nicest trade in the world for CR. Boom ID probably going to be pretty okay with that.
Definitely. A much bigger target, that mid-tier one, we talk about it every single time. It gives a lot more control towards the Wave Boom, allows them to play in that jungle area just fine. They are trying to go for wards. Kescute drops a nice sentry, but isn't quite in range. Gets taken out.
Ben-Hur, 8th Remnant, gonna save him from Hyde, but Hyde is continuing the chases. He does have Snowball, traps are gonna be there. Ohio just orbs in and dies to the Roshan. I believe he was being chased down, continuing to be chased. And Makoto just gonna start taking his stacks. Ben-Hur gonna try and contest, but Hyde is still waiting. He will Astral Step away. And bot lane, FBZ does pick up a solo kill out onto Mushi. Mushi just trying to get his outpost back, and he does manage to get it in time, but it costs him his life.
I think that's a worthwhile trade. At the very least, you do keep control of that one outpost. You give a lot more EXP towards the entire team. For the cost of support kill, not too bad for CR. Gonna be a lot happier to spread that EXP out, especially to your core. Again, need to get as much as they can early on. You want your voice snowballing soon. You want your Underlord to be able to apply that pressure across the map. And it kind of has slowed down here for CR. Like, they're the ones playing a bit more passively, has been on the get-go. Everyone besides Ben-Hur is really farming up.
Mushi again will just get back to stacking for his team. Problem is, those stacks are very open to the side of the Boom to try and take if they do manage to breach that that triangle.
Radiant's top tower is
Bit of an engagement here. Ohio getting caught out with a startling gaze, though he will manage to orb away. In fact, Kescute is the one to drop first. They do commit the Stampede to try and get out of range of BT. Faded on the TB. Now the bottom tier 1 tower. But they are going to try and defend this. It's still not down yet. BC taking a lot terribly, but now Hyde will move in and Dreamer Cell. He gets Ohio, but they lost the tusk. Can you keep this fight up? Dreamer, oh, he's going to keep moving forward onto Xiao Yu now. But they'd love to find Void Spirit Ben-Hur. Does get the 8th off. The FBZ starting to fall on. Hidden Malice has been placed, but Ben-Hur now going to be the target. They do find a nice trade. Dreamer Soul needs to run out of there. Though a nice Will-O-Wisp coming up from Mushi, and he knocks back the Ricky. So he does dodge out a tick of the Will-O-Wisp. They do manage to get out of there safely.
Overall, it's still a bit of a win in the ER. Do manage to force a lot more from Boom in that response there. They still lose Ben-Hur. That's a target to lose out on, I think. Definitely not the hero you'd want to sacrifice there, but they do save BZ Faded. They manage to apply some decent damage onto that tier 1, not managing to quite clean it up. And they force Boom to really focus their resource. It does stop them from farming up. Saw even Makoto was in that general area. Desolator is going to be a bit longer. You know, he's missing out on a couple of camps, but the gold is flowing in, just about 100 away from his last Mithril Hammer. And once you have that up and running on Makoto, it should be much easier for him to get the damage out onto these key heroes.
It should be. And he does have it now. The final Mithril Hammer is on the way. He hasn't got really anything queued up after that quite yet, but you'd imagine it'd either be a BKB or a Blink Dagger. Almost always is. 8th Remnant does connect on Makoto. Real follow-up to it.
You know, for CR as well, all this downtime is giving an opportunity to try to farm up. It's not quite the same pace as it would be for TA, but are seeing him start to finish up key items. He does have his Yasha up. He's had a Ring of Tarask for a while. Working towards his Mantis style next. And that should give him a little bit more flexibility in these fights. It should give him just a little bit more durability as well. And we mentioned from the draft, the longer this game goes, the better it is for CR. Boom has to try to get that early advantage now and try to really start to shut out that map. Otherwise, the Terrorblade is just going to be a constant issue for Boom.
Smoke will come out from CR. Dream Missile would be a fantastic target to find, but he hasn't really attacked anything yet. They're just going to wait at that high ground. Seeing BT faded there does pretty much indicate the rest of the team is behind him, and in fact he does go for the CS anyway. Now Ohio ready with the Dream Call. They do commit and Ben-Hur jumps in, and the Ricky does not manage to get away. Dream Missile giving a mega kill streak to the side of CR, and I'm kind of shocked he went for the CS attempt that early on. It felt like it was kind of obvious that they were going to go for that smoke attempt, but then again, I guess with the control, they thought they had the control of that jungle. Still, they will also lose Execute on the Lich, who was caught very out of position.
All these kills are going to be giving CR a much better time. VT Faded managed to clean up that kill on Dream Missile as well, so he's getting a lot more on the Terrorblade. He has overtaken the Rick in terms of work. They do transition into Metamorphosis as well, down mid, taking out that tier 1 very easily. No contestation coming out from Boom. That is just going to give an equal amount of control back towards the way of CR. This does mean it's going to be slightly harder for Boom to maintain control in their jungle. You see some lovely wards coming out from CR as well. A nice deep Observer ward in that jungle to watch the farming patterns of Boom. And if they don't get the D wards out, that is something CR can exploit quite well. That's what allowed them to get that kill onto the Ricky in the first place.
Now the Blink's going to be up on Makoto. It's gonna some pretty nice progression for this TA. Already Transdeso Blink up at 16.5 minutes, and they're gonna go straight for a Roshan attempt. Still, there is gonna be some counters coming in from CR. Huge bit of Malice coming in now. At least the TA still will stampede out of there. Boom. Left the Roshan very, very low. And Dream. So actually fighting Ohio on the puck. Still Makoto now, knowing the puck is enough, will go back in. Ohio not flying back, and FBZ actually gets a nice boost upon Xiao Yu. They do finish off the Roshan and pick up the Aegis, but FBZ gonna fall over. A huge chain frost just bouncing between everyone. Xiao Yu, he does go down before the Dark Grip's over, and now they do find Ben-Hur as well. BT Fate is gonna try and TP out. Can they get a stun off in time? They cannot, but it's a huge team fight for Boom ID.
Managed to really turn that one around. It looked a bit iffy when put out by a very good drop of the pit. Unfortunately, every single time Ohio is isolated and just taken out, they really need that Dream Coil on top of everything else for everything to really fit in. They need that Dream Coil, they need a Will-O-Wisp on top of that pit to get their control up to manage to pump that damage out. And Boom just manages to split them up in a very awkward way that CR just cannot get that engagement looking for. So CR has to be much more careful when taking those fights. I think you want to group your two supports together just fine. You want Mushi and Ohio to be together along with Xiao Yu. That's really key thing for CR to take these fights. That control, without it, Boom can just kind of run around and get whatever they want. Now you have to play into Mikado, who has the Desolator and Blink, along with Aegis.
Hide, smoked up, or in fact never mind smoke, he's invis. They're gonna head down bot. They'll spot out Xiao Yu on the Lord, but he's gonna hide in the tree line, find that tier 2 tower, and instead they're gonna find Ohio. Dream Missile gets a smoke screen, has a defusal blade, and then such an easy kill. Now Makoto jumps in the back, finds Xiao Yu. He will manage to get the TP scroll on, but there's no one to save that bottom tier 2 tower, and Blue team will happily take that. It just seems like this dire draft is really starting to overtake this game.
Yes, they're starting to hit their timers. This is around the point when they come online. CR just took it a bit too slow in that early point. They didn't really keep a lid onto Mikado once more. He basically had free reign to farm up in the jungle, play catch up, give himself a bit of a lead. And they just can't deal with the damage coming out from Mikado. He also can help to melt towers now. You see the same thing for Dreamocell. He doesn't have as much on him. Really just the defusal and power so far, but he's been finding the right targets every single time. He's been isolating Ohio. He understands without that puck's control, CR cannot take these fights.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Death's bounty. Illusion.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures.
Now
are
T1 on top, Makoto gonna start setting up for that. Boom ID. It's control over the map.
Radiant's top tower.
See Makoto, he's going for that standard BKB after the blink diffuse blink. It's gonna have it up very, very soon.
Top tower is under attack.
FBZ as well. He has the full Crimson Guard and pipe up on the center. I mean, that is just huge. So hard to take a team fight into poke those items. They're gonna try Xiao Yu in there with the Pit of Malice. They may find the Centaur, but how do you get everyone else? Well, they drop a Will-O-Wisp just on one hero. FBZ even with the Dream Coil just to make sure he dies, but he's stampeding now. He's just not dying. The Chain Frost comes in. They claim a 1-for-1 trade. They do end up fighting FBZ, but Xiao Yu goes and Hyde also dies. Boom now. Probably needs a back, but Dream Missile, he jumps in after the point spread. In fact, he may find it. Tricks the train. Ohio, he does go down to Makoto on TA, and they do finally find Ben-Hur on that point spirit. Now Kezcute going down on the lich, but Makoto has control over BT Faded, and he's got no way out of there. And look at this, he's going to find the 5th one, Mushi, trying to deny his trap. It's not going to work. Dreamer, so with the tricks of the trade, does pick up the kill. But they dropped every single ultimate they had on the Centaur, and it was not enough.
No, it just isn't. You mentioned it earlier. He already has the pipe, he already has the Crimson Guard. It takes a lot of commitment to kill off a Centaur in that way. And if you don't kill him before he gets stampede off, and FBZ held on to that stampede for a very long time, then he's always going to be happy. You know, you're wasting time on a tanky hero that really just needs to press stampede for the most part, maybe get a stun off every now and again. And if you can get that done for his team, they're glad. They can make it work. They lose a couple of heroes in that exchange, but it is a huge win for Boom. It does allow Mikado to finish up his BKB as well. So his Aegis does expire, but he's got the BKB up and running, which means all that control you were looking at is just not there anymore. You're gonna need something like a BKB, so tags on the puck, get that Dream Coil Pierce, get that control onto the TA, and that's not gonna be up anytime soon from a support puck.
Boom, now chasing the Ben-Hur. Came back in, that is a dangerous place to be, Ben. And Starling Gaze will hold him down now with the smoke screen. They do take him out. The Dream Coil only connected on FBZ, and now they've lost Mushi, so the keeper of the light not even there. Xiao Yu should be okay with the Dark Rift, but you lost the 2 for nothing, and they should be able to set up on that mid-tier 2 tower.
It's going to be a pretty straightforward push. Don't have the Dream Coil off. You're going to have Metamorphosis at the very least in 10 seconds, so that option is going to be back to be fatal, although
Ben Ohio getting caught again, and that's the deadly part of the Dream Missile. Now BT faded. He ran into the smoke screen. Xiao Yu will be the one to be picked off anyway. But CR are really starting to fall apart in game 3. You know, we talked about it in the draft phase. With this kind of draft from Boom, if you give them the lead, it is very hard to slow them down. And that's exactly what they're seeing. In fact, they're looking to go for a tier 3 tower. They don't even have Aegis up anymore, but they still seem to be confident enough, and they will finally back out.
At this point, Boom has everything they could want to really start to apply that pressure. They have been applying that pressure for a while. VT faded, you know, he's been doing fine for himself. He's saving up for a butterfly. Skipping out in BKB now, which is a bit worrisome. I don't think he has enough durability to really ride through the damage Boom ID has just with mischance on that fly. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble once it's up. Of course, his damage does shoot up by a fair bit. His durability, whether or not it's going to be enough with just the butterfly is a different question. He switches out again towards the Scotty, so more raw stats. Really, I still think the BK bet better. Just having that spell immunity, very valuable in this case to allow himself to get done.
Jump in. They have found Hyde, who quite a lot. So they're kind of rushing here because they've got a double damage rune active on the TA, but now Dream Call has been broken on a 3-man Will-O-Wisp Makoto. Feels like he has to turn around and punch just burst down Mushi. Now, you do fight Ben-Hur, he can't get out of there. The Stampede forward, they can still take this team fight as now the Terrorblade with that double damage really isn't as tanky. Xiao Yu also melts. And they're going to find an 18k net worth lead on Boom, and that's enough. They call GG and Sinyar will lose this series 2-1 to Boom ID.
That was it was a stronger showing in game number 2 than game 1. Game 3 kind of brought that Boom that we saw in game 1.